Hello and welcome to CT Politics TV. I'm veteran political strategist Dan Newmeyer, and we have a very special show for you tonight. When I met Joe Aguiar several months ago, we found out that we had something in common, and that was a love for boxing and especially amateur boxing. About 12 years ago, I helped build the Manchester Rocks Amateur Boxing Gym in Manchester, Connecticut, Manchester Ring of Champions Society. And I brought Joe over there and we took a tour of that place. And he told me about Scrub Scaps, which was a nonprofit organization which helps kids, disadvantaged kids, and folks that may have substance abuse problems and everything with an alternative method than regular counseling and meetings and things that a lot of people just don't want to have to deal with. They come in and they put on the gloves and they learn about physical and mental discipline. They train, they get into shape, they leave their habits behind and come out for the better. I'm going to bring on Joe Aguiar right now, and we had an opening of Scrub Scaps a couple days ago, and we took some video, and we want to share that with everybody. Joe, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much, Dan. And like you said, you and I, in addition to loving politics, are huge boxing fans, which is pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, it was actually very interesting to run into Representative Tim Ackert, who was at Scrub Scaps for this dedication of the gym. And this has been a 20-year effort on the part of the founder, Jared. What's Jared's last name? I'm sorry.
Jared Jones.
Jared Jones. And he put together a group of people who did some backyard boxing, and now 20 years later, and I believe he has a master's degree in social work now.
Yep.
And he found this to be very therapeutic for himself and the people who were involved with it from the beginning. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. Interestingly enough, when these guys first started doing it, it was more just a love of boxing. They all had substance abuse issues and, other traumas and things that they were dealing with. And as they brought in more people, they started helping people, and people were, one of the first things, and Dan, I've talked to so many of the guys who have been with this program for the 20 years that it's been in existence. And many of them told me within the first couple of weeks, they quit smoking cigarettes. They stopped drinking, things that were causing their problems because they loved this. They thought this was the greatest thing going. Jared is a really caring and loving guy. He just got his master's in psychology within the last 4 years or so. And it was something, though, that he got more interested in as they were starting to help more and more people. And it's men, it's women. There's quite a few women who have run through the program who have had amazing success. In the last year, while Jared was working with Connecticut State Legislature and USA Boxing, 3 different members of the original group passed away from overdoses.
Oh, my God.
And so, as you could imagine, the grand opening this week was bittersweet in that, Jared feels like he could have saved those people had he gotten this thing approved a year ago or 2 years ago. And so some very close friends of his, unfortunately perished before we could officially get this thing going. But we're super excited about it. Got some great people that are going to be up there training. One of them, Eric Pearson. The other guy is an original, an OG, that being Rashawn Raymond. who's pretty much been there from day one with Scrub Scraps. He goes back a long way with Jared, and has had a pretty fun amateur boxing career in his own right. So in my capacity as a realtor, I was able to secure that building. Kudos to the group that owns that building. They were very cool in working with us to get us in there with credits for new flooring and stuff. Just got the ring in there a couple of days ago. And so, it was a ton of fun. Another funny story. I asked you if you wanted to come up and shoot some stuff for it, and you said you totally did, because, again, we both love boxing. And you said, hey, I'll see if State Rep Tim Ackert can come up. And he was already planning on coming.
Yeah. And that's a testament to Representative Tim Ackert, because, he's on top of his community. He knows what's going on. He has an office just up the street for his business, Ackert Electric, which does fine work in the area, and highly recommended, because Tim is a very detail-oriented guy. But he was very passionate about this, and he ended up getting accommodation from the Connecticut General Assembly for the boxing gym. So we have all that footage for you. But I thought it might be fun to kind of contrast what Tim does on his day job, because we ran into him last week up at the Legislative Office building, and he was booked simultaneously for 2 committees and was running back and forth between the 2. So I'm going to play that video for folks now, and you can see Tim Ackert at his official capacity as a legislator, and then we'll come back and we'll see what he does in the district for a dedication like this for this business. So I'm going to play that one for us now. Let me cue that up. And here we go.
Hey, we have Representative Tim Ackert. Hey, what are you doing?
Oh, busy day. You know, one of these jobs where, not in the real world would you ever be at 2 meetings at the same time, but this crazy legislative world, we got a 1:30 public hearing and a 1:30 public hearing, so I'm double booked. So it's the way it works.
Back and forth like a ping pong ball?
Yeah, it's the way it works around here, so it's all good though. I signed up for it.
All right,
so.
And what are the big issues of the day?
So just some labor bills that we're working on now. There's a public hearing dealing with the new liquor laws, or potential new liquor laws, state of Connecticut. Just cleaning up stuff. So there's nothing catastrophic. Obviously, there's the bills that we'll be talking about down the road. And liquor is, do we want to have wine sold in your local grocery stores, or you want to make sure that your local liquor store, the packer stores, are still a viable business in the state of Connecticut? So it was a balancing act on that one.
Is there the party all night long bill? Is that one?
There's another bill, to stay up a little bit later in certain areas, party till 4 a.m. or something. So I guess, hey, if you get out of work at 2 a.m., maybe you want to go get a refreshment someplace.
That's freedom and liberty, I guess.
That's
it.
So there's Representative Ackert in his daytime capacity, and you interviewed him at Scrub Scraps at the dedication, and why don't we play that one for folks now? Hang on, I will bring that one up right now.
I'm Joe Aguiar, live in Coventry at the grand opening of the boxing gym, Scrub Scraps. I'm standing here with State Rep Tim Ackert. Tim, thank you so much for being here. I know this is your area, this is your domain, and my buddy Jared opened up this gym. This has been 19 years in the making. You guys have been, from what he's told me, very easy to work with and very accepting to get him into town and to get this thing launched finally.
Yeah, just think about the effort that he's gone through, him and his family and his friends, over 19 years to do this and get this going with support, obviously. But look what he's going to do. What an opportunity. Coventry's been a very, very inclusive community, and this is just another opportunity to bring his talent and help those in need, to get them over it. As you know, like he likes to mention, would you rather be in there working out with somebody, dealing with your problems in a physical way and handling that and getting your head straight? And this is an opportunity for that to be right down here in our community, and I'm so excited it's here in Coventry.
Yeah, this is a one-of-a-kind program in the United States. Again, Jared had to go before the legislature to make this thing happen. Again, with a lot of support. USA Boxing's been amazing throughout the whole process as well. Let's talk about this thing, because you gave this to Jared today. This is an official proclamation from the Connecticut General Assembly.
State of Connecticut is letting them know that we care. That we care about people creating businesses and opportunities here in Connecticut, and it's recognized at the state capitol. So,
it's funny, leading up to the election, everybody's talking small business, right? It's the backbone of the country. It's the backbone of the state. And a lot of the times it's political season. You have to say that.
Right.
This is actually putting your money where your mouth is. You guys supporting them and you being here it means a lot.
These are the good things that I get to do. Right? The good things I get to do is come to the community, welcome somebody, support them along the way. Not just take advantage of it and say, now that you've done it, we're here for you. Be there along the way and help out and support the small businesses and all businesses in Connecticut that provide good paying jobs and good paying opportunities.
And this one, right on top of that, is providing something to the community that is lacking. I think one of the things we've seen the last couple of years, mental health is a real situation. Right. The state of Connecticut, I think, has put in some $200 million into mental health research. Right. So to have a program like this, boots on the ground, making it happen and helping people, again, just sort of furthers what you guys are trying to do in the assembly.
That's correct. And then sharing the information, what he's doing here and what other organizations are doing, and be collaborative, right? I was just working with United Services just the other night, talking about them, and they help individuals similar that are going through addiction issues, right? Well, I told them about Scrub Scaps, and they go, we want to collaborate. So start breaking and creating synergy, So it's good stuff.
We appreciate that very much.
We sing him happy birthday?
Sure. All right. So he's really involved in the community and showed up to really represent Scrubs and Scraps and their launch of this. Now, the team that assembled around Jared has some members who've been there, I think, pretty close to the start. And maybe you can speak just a little bit. I think our first one's name is Chris.
Yep, Chris Mosconi, who actually lives in Fort Myers, Florida now, and flew up specifically for this. He is the vice president of Scrub Scraps, and he is, for all intents and purposes, you could probably call him the co-founder of Scrub Scraps.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
And so did he actually, was he, duking it up in the beginning when?
Yes, there's if you go online, there's a great video of Jared and his dad boxing against each other. Mm-hmm. And the referee for that matchup is Chris Mosconi.
Oh, wow. That does sound pretty cool.
Yeah.
I got to speak to him just for a little bit, and he said that that's a part that really interests him, is potentially maybe being a ref someday and going through that training. So let's see your interview with him. That was a really great job you did with Representative Ackert.
Great guy, by the way, Tim Ackert. And as you said, it's I guess what I want to say is, you and I were talking to Bob Duff last week, the Senate Majority Leader, who's a Democrat, and there are people who, because they don't agree with him politically, are like, oh, this guy's an idiot, or they want to insult his intelligence. And it's like, because you don't agree with him politically. These guys, and as Tim was just saying, when he had the double meetings and then, being at the Scrub Scraps grand opening, it's what he signed up for. It's what the job is. And these guys do put in the effort. And even if you don't agree with them politically, most of these folks in our state legislature, they're good people. They really are.
And that proclamation was signed by Martin Looney, who's a Democrat, and Matt Ritter, Speaker of the House, who's a Democrat, and by Representative Ackert as well. So it is a bipartisan thing, and just because we don't agree politically doesn't mean that we can't get behind good things like this launch of this gym. So let's see what Chris has to say and get to meet him. And here we go. Let's see if I got that here. Hope I'm not taking this out of order. There he is.
Hi, I'm Joe Aguiar for Connecticut Politics TV. I'm live in Coventry. This is the grand opening of Scrub Scraps. It's a pretty amazing, one-of-a-kind program. Chris Mosconi is one of the founding members of this program and the vice president of Scrub Scraps. Chris, can you tell us?
It's the world's mental health-based boxing club. And we are an all-inclusive gym location here in Connecticut where we invite everybody to come out and be a part of something.
Now, this was started in 2004. We're in a physical location today. And a couple of years ago, you guys found out as much of a benefit as this program was providing for a lot of people, can't do it. It was illegal.
Yeah, we had to figure out how to do it the right way. And for us, Jared, our president, was able to, go to the state legislature and, battle basically and bend some things and have them look at, the state of mental health in general. So, we knew if anybody could get us through that part, that was the guy.
It was quite a process, and now here we are today. Just the last year or so, you guys have lost a couple of people to overdose, founding members. It almost feels, a little bittersweet that couldn't save those guys, but here we are, and that's going to be the focus going forward.
They willed us here in a sense. So, we had to do it one way or another at that point. But, we just want to be a part of this community the same way we were 20 years ago. Same way we are now, and provide a space for people to come, and just get right.
So today, obviously, grand opening, the ring's set up. We're expecting there'll be some demos and stuff today. If people were to come out and check this out, what could they expect, and what should they be up for?
Just come in, take a look, talk with us, see what we're about. Let us know. Maybe you know somebody, maybe you want to be a part of it. All aspects. You don't have to come here to be a fighter. Come here to help us with any part of this. Come just be a part of something. It's such a general message to everybody, just come down, check us out. And
you talked about the idea like this isn't like a program. There's nothing you're going to get kicked out of, right? This is very voluntary, and that's kind of the more amazing parts of this is something people want to do.
Exactly, and that's like getting healthy in any instance. You have to want to do that, and for some people, being pressured into things isn't the answer. For us, we're just here. We're not going to give you a pamphlet on how to do it. We're an ear. We're a place to be.
Now, for anybody who's never fought before, maybe is afraid of that aspect of it, kind of explain what that process looks like. For instance, there's no uppercuts.
Yeah, no, we do take a little bit extra precaution. It's not a blood sport. We're not trying to knock anybody out. This isn't a highlight reel. We use, headgear, gloves, 16-ounce gloves, full headgear, protect your chin and all that. Honestly, when we were doing this in the garage, I've never seen anybody laid out cold. It's not what we're going for. Not at all.
And you talked about the camaraderie a little while ago. It seems to me that that's maybe the number one thing people are taking out of this is people who are into this are people with trauma in their life. Some of them are a little more prone to violence, but it's the brotherhood, it's the camaraderie of being with people. Again, not trying to hurt anybody, but doing the boxing, which is a lot of fun, and also being able to make decisions in the moment while you're being punched in the face, because that's what life is.
It's the Miyagi effect. Wax on, wax off.
Yeah.
And sometimes that sends a message, but we'd like to think of ourselves, not only as the world's first mental health-based boxing club, but an organic mental health facility as well, where those things happen organically with us. We're not going to pry them out of you. You're going to talk to us while you're in the ring. Things come out. You'd be surprised. You're in the ring and you're getting out of wind, and you start talking to the guy across from you, letting out maybe whatever it is, or just building that bond and relationship. So
it's a life-changing program for a lot of people. How can people, other than showing up here, what are other ways they can get involved?
We also take donations. You can go onto our website at www.scrubscraps.org. You can just support us in general. Follow us on Facebook at Scrub Scraps, Instagram at Scrub Scraps. We're on every platform. It's not all about the money either, just the support. Let people know we're here, because the main goal is to get people in the door. We just want people to show up. And of course, 1155 Main Street in Coventry. So
the website, scrubscraps.org. Make sure you check it out.
Wow. So he's actually been involved in this for close to 20 years from the very start, and took time out of his busy schedule to fly up from Florida for this grand opening. I was actually very amazed at the amount of people that showed up for this grand opening. And that was really good. Now, you actually have a psychologist who's part of your organization. And what's his name and what's he about?
Dr. David Bonanno is one of the members. He's on the board of directors, along with me and Chris and some of the other guys. And his role in this is, as a practicing psychologist, was able to help Jared get this thing passed through the state legislature by, talking about what the benefits of the program are, on things like addiction and just overall mental health. So Dr. David Bonanno has been instrumental in getting this thing launched, and we really appreciate all of his help.
All right. Well, let's key in on him next and listen to your another great interview you're doing. Hang on, people.
For Connecticut Politics TV, live at the grand opening of Scrub Scraps, 1155 Main Street in Coventry. Dr. Dan Bonanno, come here. This is not your regular boxing gym. There's so much more to what Scrub Scraps is. You've been involved with this for quite a while. Can you talk a little bit about your role in this and the whole role of mental health and how it can be improved through Scrub Scraps?
Sure thing, yeah. Jared asked me to be a part of it, and so anything he wants me to do, I'm happy to do. He's such a great guy. So I think it really kind of starts with him and the culture that he establishes. He's such a loving, accepting person, So anybody who's going to be a part of this group, I think, is coming into good hands. And then just from a mental health perspective, being part of something really is extremely healthy. In this day and age, it's so easy to be more isolated, like with social media and all that stuff. People are kind of pseudo-connected, but not really connected. And if you come in person and then do something that's so physical and so visceral and so becomes such an immediate, powerful experience, then I think it's really good for anybody. But yeah, with your history of helping people, to get off of addictions, or accepting the fact that you accept anybody, and that there's nobody who's not excluded, I think is really healthy. And then, yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of benefits to exercise and to dedicating yourself to something. So, I mean, like from a mental health perspective, it's a no-brainer, and anything that I can do, I'm happy to do.
I've talked to so many people who participated in this program. Camaraderie is one of the biggest things that everybody talks about. And the other thing I sort of noted, and I had said this to Jared, was the amount of people who were smoking or drinking before they got involved who quit because they wanted to be good at this.
Yeah.
Like that kind of an unexpected side effect.
That's awesome, yeah. I mean, that's incredible. Who can argue against that? I mean, everybody's kind of waiting for that inspiration to sweep them up, to make changes in their life. And then when you come into something like this, then yeah, this is it.
The first time Jared explained this program to me, I didn't really understand what he was talking about. It sounded like a bunch of guys fist fighting, and I thought, oh, well, that seems interesting enough.
Yeah.
Then he started talking about the whole mental, the whole mental aspect of it. And Mike Tyson, I think, famously said everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. And that was one of the first things in sparring with Jared in doing Scrub Scraps was I noticed when he punched me in the face, things slowed down for me. And I became a lot more aware watching his shoulder twitch, anything to not get hit again. And he was explaining that's kind of part of the program is the idea of dealing with trauma and just making better decisions.
Yeah, I like how he puts those things together because, when you make decisions, everybody wants to think that it's something that happens from the logical part of your brain, but it's really not. Like the way we live through the emotional fight or flight part of our brain. And so, I love how he puts those two things together. I mean, it's a kind of a fantasy that everything we do is logical, but it's really not. It's animalistic.
There's a very fight or flight mentality, right? Where typically speaking, you get hit and you want to just start swinging. And part of this program is don't do that.
Right.
You really want to think things out. And if you're a little more deliberate in your actions, you'll have more success. And then take that out of the ring and apply it to life.
Exactly, yeah. So you really are using both those parts of your brain. The planning aspect usually goes out the window when you're in fight or flight, but to be able to incorporate both of those at the same time is an amazing life lesson.
Dr. Dan Bonanno, thank you. And can you believe we're here today after all these years? It's the grand opening. It's finally here.
Yeah, it's awesome. I remember Jared telling me about it a long time ago, and here we are.
Yep.
All right.
Big day for us.
Wow, that was really great and really great explanation of the benefits to being part of a group when everybody's so isolated, and then kind of how we reason and make decisions, which boxing, when you're in a fight or flight type of situation, like you said, kind of gets you to slow down and start to think about this and really focus in. And in this kind of age of ADHD, where we're just kind of all the stuff's coming at us, this kind of brings you back into the real world, don't you think?
Yeah, it's funny. I remember saying to Jared when the first punch he literally threw at my face, he connected. We were wearing headgear, mind you. I didn't want to get hit again. That's the only thing I knew was like, all right, he hits hard. I don't want to get punched again. And so afterwards I explained to him, like, things got much slower for me. I was watching your shoulders, looking for a twitch to see if a jab or a hook was coming. And he explained to me that I'm lucky that especially a lot of the people that show up for this program, they don't have that ability, that they get hit and they either shell right up and they don't want to get hit. That's the flight, or they just start throwing punches there. That's the fight or flight. I came in there as a person, not, I guess, dealing with trauma, who is able to think things out. And I think that's why life's been so good for me, as opposed to people who have, dealt with trauma, who haven't necessarily dealt with it in the right way. Jared will also point out, he says this all the time, if I were to say to you, who in this group wants to go and sit down with a therapist and lay all your problems bare, right? A lot of people are uncomfortable doing that. And then he says, when I say to that same group, who'd be interested in pairing off with someone of similar size and skill set and throwing some punches? Everybody puts their hand up. It sounds like something, yeah, right? Like something everybody would enjoy doing. And that's maybe the best part of this is a therapy that, you know, we've noticed people show up for this. Mm-hmm. This is the kind of thing that excites people, and because it's a little unconventional as opposed to sitting down with a therapist. And listen, we're not suggesting that this is the only form of therapy. We do highly recommend people go and seek treatment with a counselor, with a psychologist. But if you find that that's just not for you, and you know you're someone who's maybe a little more prone to, this seems like fun, you'll get a lot out of this program for sure.
So do you have a little bit of background you can tell folks about Jared and where he came up from? And, just briefly, we're about to meet him here in this interview where he talks about the gym and stuff. But where does he come from?
He's actually from Coventry, grew up, born and raised there. He in his 20s, things weren't going great. You know, he was drinking, he was doing drugs, went to jail a couple of times, and his daughter was born, and she's very active in Scrub Scraps now as well. And at that point, he was like, I gotta get it together, right? I gotta grow up and be a man. And he completely turned his life around and didn't want to leave anybody behind in that group. And so it was like, I guess I got to get everybody out of the gutter, and we're going to do this. And again, people who know Jared will tell you he's one of the most sincere and kindest, most compassionate people you'll meet in your life. And people just flock to this dude. It's something else.
Yeah, he is. He's a very magnetic and very humble person. I was happy to meet him. So let's watch your interview with him, and he gets. You can see with the emotion of losing some folks who helped him organize, and what he says. It's a very great interview you did on this one, I have to say.
Thank you.
And then that kind of brings us into the dedication part of it. So let's play that now and meet Jared. Here we go. If I can find him there. This is it.
I'm Joe Aguiar, live for Connecticut Politics TV in Coventry, 1155 Main Street. This is the grand opening of Scrub Scraps, and I'm here with the founder and president of Scrub Scraps, Jared Jones. This has been a long time in the making to be in a physical location and to officially have this thing be a real, this isn't just your thoughts anymore. This is reality now. How are you feeling?
I feel great. My buddy Matt from Kohler Construction said to me last night, he's been in here busting his ass. He said, this is literally your blood, sweat, and tears. You know, a lot of people get to a place and have had a lot of things handed to them. And to feel like I was a part of something, as were you.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I was just talking to your mom, who has also been a big part of this.
Oh, yeah.
And
I used to live in her womb.
Yeah, you did. He did. There was a time where Jared lived in the womb. And it's funny. I was just talking to a couple other people, and people noted that they stuck through and stayed with this because of you, because of the kind of person that you are, a loving, caring person, and that this thing that you were planning, this is meant to improve people's lives. And that's always sort of been your motivation. Talk a little bit about that.
We steer clear of the term Fight Club now, but make no mistake, that's how we started. And I was having my own struggles in life, in and out of jail, struggling with addiction. And as I found recovery and psychology, a master's degree in psychology, and started growing up. My little fight club kind of grew up with me, and we started to notice that the demographic we were getting was people who had dealt with heavy trauma. You know, and that's what happens. You ask people, does a fist fight appeal to you? And most of the demographic who say yes are dealing with some kind of active trauma or have dealt with some kind of heavy trauma in the past. So that being the case, I feel like you open the doors and tell people they're allowed to fight here, and then you attach it to mental health strictly based on the fact that the people that walk through those doors need it.
Part of this being a fight club but not being a fight club is, right, people are matched up, they train with you, so you make sure people are of similar skill sets,
yes.
Similar abilities, so no one's beating up the other guy. It's also, there's no uppercuts, right? This is not designed to hurt people.
Yeah.
It's to get the best benefits from boxing.
Yes, when I say your size and skill level, we have a couple exemptions from USA Boxing. And one of the ways we got the exemption was intramural matches only. So that means anybody who fights here, both people in the competition will have fought with the same trainer, will have sparred with the same trainer, will have worked with the same trainer, and that trainer will be the one picking the matchups. I'm one of those 3 trainers. And you match them up different when you're not bringing 10 guys from one gym and 10 guys from another gym. You know, because you want to win all 10. I win one and lose one every time we have a fight.
This is kind of a bittersweet day too. Just in the last year or so, you've lost some people who were with this program and didn't get to see the physical location, didn't get to see it become a legal entity, one of its kind program in the United States of America. Talk about the bittersweetness of a little late for some of these people.
We lose a lot higher percentage than the general population, and that was one of the things I started to notice, was that our members started to pass at a rate that the other people in my life weren't passing at. And Adam Wilson fought at Scrub Scaps 1. He was the very first fight in 2004. He was the kid getting bullied that kind of birthed the idea. And I'd love for him to see it, but I know he'd be floored. He'd cry with me. And so would Katie and Ryan and Scott and the rest of them. They're here with me. You know, I have a folder with all of the waivers everybody signed in my desk, so they're with me.
I didn't mean to make you cry.
Oh, that's all right. I'm going to do a lot of that today.
I know you're gonna. I've known Jared a long time. A lot of crying. This is also a really happy day.
Literally my blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah,
So I'll sweat and bleed a little later, too.
And we'll be here to capture the whole thing. Just talk about, again, you woke up this morning realizing that after 19 years of blood, sweat, and tears, this is really happening. We're here and we're minutes away from cutting the ribbon. Take us through, you woke up, what went through your mind, and how are you feeling?
I thought about you. Whew. And all the people that kind of helped keep this thing alive. It's like a child to me, you know? And there were times I thought it was going to die. And there were people who fed it when I thought it was going to die. So I woke up thinking about how you might feel about somebody who helped feed your starving children when you thought they were going to die, and letting you know that that's how I feel today, watching this thing blossom and reach its potential.
Thank you, Joe. My pleasure.
Proud of you, dude. So proud of you. Get on down here. You got to come check this place out. You can also visit online at scrubscraps.org. I'm Joe Aguiar here with Jared Jones. Come on down.
Wow, that was very emotional, and you did a really nice job with that interview as well. He's just such an authentic person in every way. And you can see that he almost doesn't want to take ownership of it. He wants to give that to everyone else involved, and especially his friends who died and didn't get to see this happening. Wow, that
yeah, I wasn't fishing for a compliment there when I asked him what he woke up thinking about, and he said me. Since I've been involved with Scrub Scraps now for the last few years, I'm like, dude, whatever I can do to help make this thing a reality, let me know. I secured that location as the it's right. It's like 2 minutes from his house.
Oh boy,
in Coventry, yeah, which I sold to him too. So got to spend time with him and his family. All of his friends, people like Chris. I've only known Chris now as long as I've known Jared, and we're super tight. But I'm so proud of Jared. The amount of obstacles he's dealt with, the reason it's taken 19 years, in addition to, making sure this program was illegal and got the exemptions from USA Boxing. About 6 months ago, we got a letter from the IRS through some paperwork problem. They took away our 501c3 status. And so we had to go about getting that. It was like, it seemed like, Dan, there was always some new obstacle. And every time Jared felt like maybe this thing's never going to happen, people like me and Chris and some of the others were like, nah, dude, we're going to see this through until we get this thing open. And so you can imagine Wednesday was an amazing day for all of us.
Yeah, it really was. And it culminated in this dedication video. So let's play that for folks now, where Representative Ackert steps up and gives the certificate over, the proclamation from the Connecticut General Assembly. So let's see if I can play that one. We're doing okay with this. Let's see. Here we go.
And I'll have a funny story about Tim Ackert. And there's a photo that will be showing him on the old speed bag. We'll have a little story for that after the dedication, before we wrap things up today.
All right. Here it is. It should be playing, but it isn't. Let's try that again. Live TV, you know how it is. Let's see.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that is because that is just an image. I think it must be this one. Hopefully this is it. Yes.
Thank you, everybody, for being here today. This is for anybody who's been around since 2004 when Scrub Scraps first kind of got together. The blood, sweat, and tears that it's taken to get to this point today. I'll put a round of applause for Jared Jones for sticking with this thing and making it happen. And I know you've had a lot of support, Jared, but to talk to anybody here who's been around since 2004 or sooner even, they'll all tell you the same thing. Jared's an amazing person, and everyone is absolutely thrilled to be a part of this. So thank you all for being here today. Now we are going to introduce our state rep, Tim Ackert, who is going to say a few words and introduce a few other people.
Thank you. Thanks for everybody coming out. And Jared, first and foremost, thanks for choosing Coventry. We love it. The space here was a gym in the past. You're bringing a new style here. Support for the people that you have been working with you and your team. I mean, it's not as you mentioned, it's a team effort all along. And I saw the hours and the lights were on late here getting this together. I had an opportunity to stop in, and it was like 9 o'clock or something. We had a great conversation about what you're doing. I used to work out in one of these years and years ago, back in a whole different lifetime, it seems, nowadays. So I'll maybe stop down and try it out a little bit with some of your trainers and then to see what you're doing and participate and support. You know, that's as a nonprofit, part of that is keeping things going and getting support and fundraising. I saw some fundraising opportunities that you're doing, so please support you know, the organization and help them out. But on behalf of the state of Connecticut, State of Connecticut General Assembly official citation introduced by Representative Tim Ackert, Senator Jeff Gordon, be it hereby known to all that the Connecticut General Assembly hereby offers sincere congratulations to Scrub Scraps in recognition of your ribbon cutting ceremony at 1155 Main Street in Coventry. We join you today to celebrate your dedication and commitment to the town of Coventry and your clients in promoting mental health development through sport of boxing. Our community congratulates you on your official opening and says best regards for much future success. The entire membership extends its very best wishes on this memorable occasion and expresses the hope for continued success. Given this first day of February 2023 at the State Capitol, Hartford, Connecticut, signed by President Pro Tem Martin Looney, Speaker of the House Matt Ritter, and Secretary of State Stephanie Thomas. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you. I just wanted to say quick, I kind of want everyone to ask themselves two questions. The first is, does the idea of a fight with someone your size and at your skill level appeal to you? If it is, we'll see you for signups. And if it's not, the second question is, does it surprise you that people who answer yes to the first question are often dealing with some kind of active struggles in their life or have dealt with some kind of heavy trauma in their past? For a lot of people, conventional therapy is the answer, and for everybody else, there's Scrub Scraps. Thanks.
And I'd like to introduce our council chair, Lisa Thomas, to come up and give you the same warm welcome.
We are so excited to have you here on our Main Street. Coventry has worked really hard to make this community a place that welcomes everybody and wants to give everybody a chance. So thank you. I think this is a really important approach and a space for people who are struggling on whatever other reasons they come here. I know one of my daughters several years ago, actually less than that, was having her own difficult time, and one of the things one of her friends did was send her a pair of boxing gloves. So I get what you're doing, and we're thankful for what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to present you this certificate of appreciation from the town of Coventry. It reads, this certificate is awarded to Scrub Scraps. The town of Coventry thanks you for choosing Coventry as your location and wishes you many years of business success. On behalf of the town of Coventry's Economic Development Commission and the town council, this is signed today, February 1st, by myself and our town manager, John Elsesser. And please turn to our Economic Development Commission, come to us with any needs that you have, because we're thankful for you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Wow. So that worked out pretty well, huh? It was a big deal for everybody to come down there. Let's kind of move. We got a couple quick videos here and the ribbon cutting ceremony, and then we're moving on. Let's go to.
Do you have the picture of Tim Ackert on the speed bag?
I actually do have that.
Pop that up for a minute.
Okay. I think I have that in there. Oh, you know what? I actually have to load that one because I was slacking. I know I got it, and it's right here.
Beauty.
While that's loading, so as the afternoon progressed, they did some demos. with a couple of the trainers there. They work submit, which is a work with timing and pads where you're trying to hit those as the trainer moves around the ring and tries to pop you in the nose with it. But here is this picture of actually Representative Acker taking a couple swings at the bag. Oh, there he is. Oh, it's in the back. I have to pull us out. Here we go. We'll take a look at that.
So now here's the funny story.
Okay.
Right after Tim took a couple, and he did a pretty good job, I'll tell you. Representative Acker can throw some hands. I was impressed. I walked over, couple of hits, and then a boom, and I knocked that bag right off the hooks. I mean, snapped it and everything. It's got to be replaced.
Whoa! Holy!
You don't know.
Stuff.
You don't know until
you're a cyborg now. So you got all that titanium in there, like the Terminator.
That's what it is.
Nickname. That could be your boxing name. And here he is, Joe Aguiar, the Terminator. So that was pretty good. So let's do the ribbon cutting ceremony, and then I guess we can let folks get on with their lives. But what a fun show this is. Kind of a break from politics, and the way that, you know, we were able to weave it in with State Rep Acker. It was really great. So let's get to the ribbon cutting ceremony. The good stuff. Here we go with ribbon cutting. I'll pull this out here. Oh, is it going to do it? It's going to do it. Why isn't it doing it? You know, this thing can be problematic. I don't know. I think it's going to start playing. Wanted to. Here we go. There. Those are some pretty big scissors.
Very big scissors.
All ready?
Well, one of it's they're fake, but you can try to cut them.
There you go.
As big as those scissors are, they're not very sharp.
Yeah.
And the Chamber of Commerce has a limited budget for ribbon.
Oh, now we're freezing up. We got through this whole thing, and now I think your internet we've lost you, Joe. Anyways, we'll see if we can bring Joe back into the mix. And I think he may be gone. Thank you very much for watching this special edition of CT Politics TV. Scrub Scaps Gym, like most boxing gyms, are an excellent place to go when you're having some issues and you're having some trauma in your life and you want to go beat the bags. And it's an excellent place to go to get in shape. Many of these nonprofit boxing gyms let people work out for free if they don't have the means to be there, such as Manchester Rocks. Scrub Scaps is also there and has some actual professional mental health people to, talk to you if you want to talk, but also to just train you and get your focus on improving your life, improving your health, and getting back on track to having a better life. Like the owner Jared Jones said, is, for some people, traditional therapy is it. Going to group meetings and those things shouldn't be discounted as a good way because it's been a path for many people. But for everybody else who doesn't want to go that route, there is another way to kind of get back on track. And you don't have to get beat up. You can go and you can work out and in a very safe environment that's controlled, it's insured, and if you do decide to spar after you learn some techniques and stuff like that, it's going to be with someone who's your own size, with the same trainer you have, who knows you both, and with willing participants. It's very safe in terms of injury. It's almost non-existent. Some techniques, such as uppercuts, are not allowed because those could injure you pretty bad. And so it's a well-run, well-thought-out program. And here at CT Politics TV, we're really happy that you were able to join us and learn a little bit more about it. You can find them at scrubscraps.org. Make a donation, come on down to Main Street in Coventry, and put on the gloves and give it a shot. Work out on the speed bag a little bit and get in better shape. That's it for me, and thank you very much for joining us here at CT Politics TV. That's our Scrub Scraps amateur boxing special show. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.